Welcome to The Hardest Part. This is the show where we go behind some of the hardest songs artists have ever had to write. On this episode, I'm joined by Will White.
It's basically the beginning of the whole process of making this album. It was like the turning point, really. That's why I chose it, really, because it all pins around the fact that I was able to write this song, which led to the album.
Okay, interesting. So it was the catalyst, basically.
It was the catalyst. It's also quite an old song, actually. Okay. This process has been a long time, you know. So I wrote this years ago. So in a way, the hardest part of it was the fact that it kind of was still there.
Right.
And it's out. It was, yeah.
We actually talk about this a lot in talking to a band on Tuesday, just gone about this. And it's often artists, when we're talking about the hardest part of songwriting, it's all these fragments of ideas that live somewhere, and it's that ability to make sure it doesn't go in the bin. And we've had so many different sort of takes on whether it's a producer that brings it back from the dead, it's an experience, or even just like a motif or something like that, which like gives it this new life. But I'm always really interested, and if anyone's listening that is struggling with the same thing of an idea that's stuck on a hard drive, how did you keep injecting life into this idea to the point where you wanted then to open your album with it?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't really feel like I injected... Basically, the way that I write songs is I just write. I sit down and I write a song, and if it doesn't appear, I never go back and try and refine an idea.
Okay.
I have to write it in that moment, pretty much fully formed.
Or they go.
Or they just don't really go anywhere. Like then I in my head, I just don't have a song.
Right, okay.
So I'll sit down with an instrument and then for probably like 3 hours or something, and I'll write a number of things in that time, and then usually, hopefully, a song appears. And it may not be the same idea I've been doing for 3 hours.
Okay.
I'm just kind of like just churning through things and seeing what kind of starts sticking.
So you sit down, churn, and then refine from there?
I have a little studio. It's kind of like the same size as this room, and everything's set up to record straight away. So I just go in, I press record, and I just record myself just like making ideas up as they happen. And then as they come, words will come with it, and I'll be writing down those lines as they arrive and trying to like follow my nose, basically.
Right.
So I would never go like, oh, I've written a verse, I'll come back to that and then do a new idea. I just won't drop the idea until it's finished if I think it's going somewhere. So returning to ideas doesn't really happen in a way. It only really happens in the way of, if I start playing it live, I'll be playing it a lot again, and maybe something will appear, but very rarely, or in the production.
Right.
It's like that classic painful, like, sitting with discomfort trying to write. Like as soon as I've written a song, I feel like, wow, that was easy. But actually I've been sat there for hours, like kind of in discomfort.
Right, okay.
So like I kind of grown to love that process, or like feel like that process has some meaning for me, or like gives me some belonging in some way. But
you're automatically out of your comfort zone, which is what many people would say is a good thing, right? Like,
right.
So the magic happens normally.
Yeah, and it feels so nice to come away from something with a song, because songs are just like these weird things that can just carry so much meaning.
Yeah.
And they can change who you think you are. If you write a song, you can suddenly be like, oh, I'm a guy that's written that song.
Right, yeah.
If you write a bad song, you're like, you know, it'll bring you down.
Yeah.
So like they could do all these things, but I find that kind of amazing. You can just completely change your idea of yourself or your outlook on the world by writing a song.
Yeah.
And I have this weird relationship with when talking about doing this podcast and it being like the hardest part, and me being like, well, everything is hard and nothing's hard, is how I look at it. Like, I don't really think of like, God, getting that bridge was like the hardest thing. Like, I don't, you know, they all kind of come or they don't. And I'll just be there until it does.
Well, what's really interesting is to that point is, you know, we've had, I think when we first sort of like put the concept of this podcast forward, you'd almost immediately expect it's like, okay, we're going to get a lot of breakup songs. We're going to get a lot of of like, this is the first song I made once I got kicked out of a band or something like that.
Yeah.
I reckon we've had like 2 breakup songs, maybe 1 song of a romantic like sort of position. And every reason has been different, but what has been universal throughout is that the hardest part is sometimes the best stuff. It's like it's redefined. That those songs have redefined how the artist writes songs, thinks about themselves, gets over anxiety, brings in anxiety. Like, it's been a pivotal and turning point for a lot of records and directions of future work.
Yeah.
That's kind of always been the common thread, never the theme, but like the outcome has always kind of been quite common.
Yeah, I think that songwriting is not really, I think it's like both deeply mysterious, but also uninteresting, because it's just graft. It's just like turning up and putting the effort and time in until you get a song. Like, that's, I'd see them, but then also once you have it, it's this mysterious idea that you've made this thing. You don't really know where it came from. Maybe lines are like pulling from your life or pulling from other people's lives around you, but you're like never really sure. And the cool thing about songs, I find my songs for me, is that they do change meaning to me, because then they're rarely like pinned on a specific thing. And this one's kind of interesting to me because it started, I wrote this song just as I was like falling in love with my current partner, at the same time as my brother was like going through a breakup after 10 years. So, and he was like sleeping on my sofa at the time. So it was like, I was living in these two like opposites that were all about relationships and things falling apart and things working out. And this song, to me, just like the way that I think of this song, is it holds both of those ideas. This kind of, this, not everything's lost, but everything can be lost.
Right, okay.
And obviously I wrote, it's called 6:30 a.m. because when I was writing it, I was imagining that being, you're up at 6:30 a.m. after a big night with your friends. But now, because I've got a kid now, 6:30 a.m. is very different. I'm up every day at 6:30 a.m. for different reasons. So now it feels kind of like I can sing it from that point of view now, which I really like.
Nice.
It's kind of, it's almost like the song knew that was going to happen. In the morning, I eat breakfast straight out the box. Spread my things out across the kitchen table. Put my feet up if I want. I don't miss her.
It's interesting, so you talk about the origins. Like, I always do like sort of bring the audience into the room when the song first sort of took shape, or even, you know, the first time you put sort of pen to paper. Take us into that moment. So you said your brother was going through something really hard at the time.
Yeah.
You were going through like a really positive state in your life. When and how did it start to take shape?
Before I wrote this song, I was writing much more like collage type music with lots of instruments and electronic music, and trying to find a character, a voice that I could really like rely on. And I had varying success with it, but this song was like a moment where I wrote a song on a guitar without a computer, just front to back. And it made me rework out who I was as a songwriter, and it helped me find the voice of the character that I sing from the perspective of, really, in all my songs. They seem to come from a lone wolf kind of perspective, in some form of grief. And that seems to just be like the character that I've found I can like navigate these ideas through, and it's kind of me and not me. So this song was the first point of finding that, I think. And I remember writing the first line of the song just in a notebook. Like I used to wake up and just write it's still like automatic writing, you know, and you wake up and you just write whatever comes to your mind. And I did that for years, just wrote trash for years, you know. And then but I remember one of the lines, the opening line of this song, being in that, and I went to the studio not thinking anything of that, and I sat down with the guitar and I was reading the morning writing and trying to play and seeing if anything would land, and then it started landing, and then it was like, oh, now that's the beginning of this song. So it was like something that I wrote not thinking about in the morning that then formed the beginning of the song. That was the starting point of that song. And it also, in a more like, maybe more boring way, it was the first time I really found B flat was the key that I sing in.
Okay.
Which is, I'd never thought of keys like where I should sing before. I'm not like a trained musician or anything. So, and I remember finding this B flat chord and being like, that feels where I should be.
I'm into it.
So it was like that. And then a lot of my songs like come from around that key now.
Live, you transition it into an Elvis song. Any subliminal meaning there, or just works out that way?
I think basically so basically this last year I was on tour with Maccabees, who I play keyboards for. And following that tour, I was just about to start a residency of my own in Peckham, in this tiny cafe, which is like the size of this room. And I was more nervous about that residency than I was about these huge shows Maccabees were doing. Like we headlined part stage at Glastonbury and All Points East. And before we went on, all I was thinking about was, fucking hell, how am I going to play these songs to like 10 people? Yeah. It was really like disorientating. But I'd be playing in soundcheck the songs on the stage when the techs were like teching.
Yeah. They're like, that's not a fucking Maccabees song, mate. Can you stop?
And they would kind of join in at times. And one of them just started singing that. And I was like, fuck, I've ripped that song off. I hadn't thought about that. Like the opening 3 chords of the chorus are basically that. Yeah. I was like, there it is. And then as soon as I started singing it, I was like, fuck, there it is. That's the golden version of this. Yeah. So I started playing it in these residencies at the end of the song, and it just felt right. It felt like actually I'd found where the song came from. That was like I was kind of getting at without knowing. I was just kind of mapping out traditional songwriting. Yeah. And it just feels right. It feels like it comes from the same place to me. Yeah. I mean, that's very big-headed, but it feels like...
You're in great company there, I'd say,
from the same pool of like... it feels like the character in my song, in 6:30 a.m., feels like they would definitely be singing that song.
Yeah, I'm really interested in what you picked up on there, which is like, do you find it easier to play to 20 people, 20,000? Like, I was talking to some artists about this the other day, and it was like, the bigger the shows got and the more daunting they got from like an audience perspective, they became much easier. So I'd love to know like how that, because that's a really strange thing, right? Like very few artists are constantly flipping between the two.
I mean, they're both terrifying, but my role in Maccabees is very different. I sit at the back and I kind of, I'm not the point of focus. So I'm allowed a lot more space and, I'm just not in the heat. So I've become quite comfortable there, although it's still really scary to play to those big crowds. But there is like a comfort in playing with a bunch of people as well, everyone, you're relying on each other. Yeah. But playing on my own in a small cafe, essentially, scared me more.
It's just you.
Because it was just me. But now, like, I basically did this residency, and I did it all through most of the first half of this year as well. And I feel like I've found my feet there. That's kind of why I booked those, because I wanted to find my feet and feel confident doing that. And now I kind of do. I don't have that like overwhelming anxiety around it. I think it was because I hadn't played for a long time, basically. I was kind of doubting myself, like, am I actually good enough to do that? Right. I think I am now.
But if you came walking through the door this morning. Where the hell have you been? Changed man, don't want you back. Changed man, don't want you back. Changed man, changed man.
So, yeah, what was the turning point there then? Because, like, you know, coming over any form of like anxiety or self-doubt is super tricky in life, let alone, I think, when art or music or really putting yourself out there is on the line. What was the turning point there? How did you navigate that?
The turning point, I think, really was making myself do it, you know? I don't think it was anything about like having a lightning bolt moment while playing or anything like that. It was more just like, I'm going to put myself in discomfort in the same way of writing a song, you know? If you back out doing that thing, you're never going to come out with a song. And it's just about putting yourself in uncomfort and being comfortable with it. And I feel the older I've gotten and the more, like, since I've had a kid, I feel like that really is more what life's about, actually. More about finding comfort in discomfort and being okay with uncertainty and knowing that the only way is forward and being prepared for it not to go perfectly. And ideally, it's better if it doesn't go perfectly.
Yeah.
I think you learn more and the story is stronger, and they're the things you kind of look back on in a fond way.
Yeah.
And I found that those moments with those big shows that we did last year, that actually that kind of perfection and that big success thing, it's like, it's cool, but it's like it's not really where it's at. It's not the stuff that gives you the sustenance to like to really believe in what you're doing, because I think it's much easier to find that in intimacy and like in more direct ways. Also, the transaction process of like those big shows it's quite cold and capitalist world,
of course,
right?
yeah.
It's all based on money and the people who,
how many beers someone buys per head. Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not like a thing that's leveling people into a place where we all come in and experience it in the same way.
I finished all these interviews kind of with the same question, and one of my favorite things about getting to speak to artists one-on-one in such an intimate setting is to discuss like nuances within their music. And I think it's like a real shame that not everyone gets to have those conversations. It's certainly my favorite part of it, where you can spell out really small things that only really you would know. And then when I listen back to that music with that context, it just changes everything. And our audience are about to hear an intimate stripped back session of this track, this track, which was such a pivotal moment for the record, and you know, it was kind of a black swan in your songwriting process too. Is there anything you want them to listen out for, albeit it is a stripped back version, that is going to change the way they experience it? Something to hold on in the back of their head.
The perspective of where it could be sung from, which I've been thinking about recently with it, of like, this could be coming from the point of view of someone who has been staying up all night and is really like hanging from a thread. And it makes a lot of sense in that way. Someone who's, kind of lost really with that. But it could also come from someone who is getting up at 6:30 a.m. with a lot more stability in their life and like this discomfort with uncertainty. I think that's kind of the thing that I would say, if anything, to think about if you wanted to. I also don't care if people don't want to think about that. But like, For me, that's when I'm singing it, I'm able to like think about it in that like dual way now, which makes the song a lot richer to me, because I like this idea of like, it could be that, but it could be that. And like, neither is really on the money.
Yeah.
And it's the distance between those two things, and the fact that those two things are actually the same thing is kind of interesting to me, that you can be both of those things at once. And you don't have to think about things from one direction all the time. And this song kind of weirdly holds that, actually, which was kind of unintentional.
Thanks so much for joining us at The Hardest Part.
Thank you, man.
In the morning, I eat breakfast straight out the box. Spread my things out across the kitchen table. Put my feet up if I want. I don't miss her often. Get stoned out my box. Do all the things that she didn't approve of. Sometimes I do them all at once. But if you came walking through the door this morning, where the hell have you been? Changed man, don't want you back. Changed man, don't want you back. Changed man. 6:30 in the morning, with all of my friends. I don't know if it's helping, but I can pretend. One strong feeling, the sky went from pink to gray, just like us, overcast on Sundays, just like us. It's a shame, but if you came walking through the door this morning, where the hell have you been? Changed man, don't want you back. Changed man, don't want you back. Changed man, changed man. But if you came walking through the door calling, where the hell have you been? Oh, 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 oh.
Thanks for tuning in to The Hardest Part. If you enjoyed the show, please do rate and review. And you can check out our entire back catalogue of interviews, features and sessions on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all major streaming platforms. We'll catch you next time.